Hey, we're with you for another week here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show, talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market like we are every Sunday at 10 a.m. And this is a bit of a somber Sunday, just to talk about everything, that happened with Helene and Milton. Obviously, a lot of damage to our area, and I want to give you guys some advice on how to handle claims, how to evaluate what's going to happen in the real estate market over the next several months from impacts of the storm, and obviously, just kind of keep you guys up to date on what's going on. I didn't get to air a show and talk to you guys last week about this. So this week, I think people are kind of back, getting power back, getting back in kind of the swing of life, and kind of getting back things back to normal. But this was obviously a catastrophic storm, 100-year storm for our area. So if you have impact, I'm sorry. I'm so glad that our area has come together. So many neighbors helping neighbors, and it could have been worse, truthfully. It hit further south. If it would have hit a little further north of here, we'd have had an epic storm surge event, especially with 2 feet of rain that we didn't end up having. So consider our area fortunate and blessed that it wasn't worse, but I know that there are a lot of people out there rebuilding that lost everything, that lost their homes, that are going to be fighting with insurance for months and months and months. So I want to give you an opportunity today to learn, what I think is going to happen to the real estate market, but also to give you some tips on things that I think you need to do as you go down this path. So if you are someone that was impacted and you're dealing with your insurance company and you plan to sell your home, I want to make sure that you get everything in writing from your carrier about your settlement and payment. I've had clients reach out and say, hey, I want to sell my house and then wait on the insurance money. That isn't possible with some carriers. You want to make sure to get everything in writing so you know what you can and can't do. I'd hate for you to go and sell your property and then your insurance claim gets denied because you're no longer the owner of the property before the claim pays out. So that's one thing I want to make sure and advise people of. Secondly, if you had damage, document everything. If you plan to sell your property, have it documented so that you can explain and show that to people in the future. You also, if you plan to sell, you want the buyers to know what happened to your house during the storm. Every buyer is going to be scared and want to know what's going on or what happened in that neighborhood. And the more information, videos, photos that you have to be able to provide to them to show them what did or did not happen in your neighborhood, the better off you're going to be. So sellers, get all that information, compile it from neighbors, take your pictures, be prepared to answer those questions. Buyers, do your due diligence. There are going to be people that are going to slop houses back together. They're going to do it on the cheap. They're going to not disclose certain things. They're going to hide certain things. And you need to make sure you're working with a great agent as well as a great home inspector to try and vet that out so that you don't buy a house that was slopped back together and ends up being a problem for you because someone wants to pawn off their problem on you. There are going to be a lot of those things going on right now. Secondly, if you don't have flood insurance, if you're someone out there that it's not required, when I say it's not required, I want you to understand who is telling you it's not required. It's your lender and basically the government with FEMA. And if you're listening to this show, you're probably a lot like me, and maybe you don't trust the government. Maybe you don't believe that they have your best interest in mind, or maybe you don't think that they make the right choices about how to navigate through your personal life. They set flood insurance costs based on the elevation of the home. Very little else is factored in. Not necessarily how well your area drains, how much rain you might get, how close you are to the water, or even in some instances, how likely your area is to flood. It's amazing. It would be like insurance carriers in the automotive world insuring cars and not even factoring in cities or towns where it's more dangerous or more cars get broken into, not having insurance be more expensive there. So flood insurance is so backward that I wish it could get blown up and changed. So when you hear that you're not required to have flood insurance, you should not trust that you're safe. Okay. You should not trust that your property is safe from flooding. There are so many people in Tampa Bay right now that are in flood zone X that lost everything because they did not have flood insurance. Their homeowner's coverage isn't going to carry or kick in because they don't have flood coverage because they weren't quote unquote required to have it. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, we live on a peninsula. Okay. Our whole state is a peninsula, and then Tampa in general is a peninsula if you're in the city or downtown. or South Tampa. So if you live on a peninsula, get flood insurance. It's cheap if your lender doesn't require it, okay? If you're not required to have it, it won't be that expensive. And it's further protecting you in a case of having catastrophic storm damage like we had with both Helene and Milton. So get flood insurance if you don't have it and you're not required to, and look into it. Protect yourself, protect your property, protect your family. There's too many people that are going to lose hundreds of thousands, in some instances millions of dollars, because they don't have the proper coverage on properties that they own. So get your coverage. It's not expensive if you're not required to have it by your lender, okay? If you don't owe anything on your home and you don't have a lender, you should still have it. You should get flood insurance. Everybody should have flood insurance. And so the reality is way too many people right now are displaced by this storm and hurt and navigating through life now because they didn't get good advice. They didn't get the right insurance. So I'm hopeful that many of you people right now are listening and you take this advice seriously and you go out and get flood insurance if you're not in a flood zone or not required to have it. I want to talk a little bit more about some things you can do, in relation to how the storm is going to impact your neighborhood. Like I mentioned before, if you're a homeowner, the more that you can document about what did or didn't happen, because otherwise people are going to be afraid. Home buyers are going to be afraid for a while, and for good reason. They're going to be cautious. They're going to want to know everything that happened in your neighborhood, street, or home as it relates to these storms. So the more that you can document, the more that you can show what did or didn't happen, the better off you're going to be and your home value is going to be in the future. But the storm is going to be the topic of conversation for our real estate market for a while. If you did not have damage to your home, that is now a marketable thing. So if you're going to sell your home, first off, hit up DuncanDuo.com. We would love to help you. We can get you an instant cash offer. If you went out quick, we can get you a home value estimate. We can help give you all your options and guide you the right way, again, at DuncanDuo.com. But if you are one of those people thinking about selling their home, it's very valuable if you did not have damage. If your street didn't have damage, if your neighborhood didn't have damage, if your condo building didn't have damage or had minimal damage, that is now something marketable. As we continue to sell real estate during this trying time, we will still get people that want to move here or that want to buy real estate. And the reality is that they're all going to want to know what happened with that property in the storm. So you may not know every little crevice of your home. You might have gotten water into your home and not know it. You might have had a roof leak that never made it through the drywall. No way for you really to know 100% whether or not you took on water or not. So if you have no observable defects from the storm or had minimal, that is something we're going to market. That makes your home more marketable. If a condo building next to you took on a bunch of water and had damage, but yours didn't, that makes yours more marketable. So it is now going to be something that is accentuated through the marketing of real estate, whether or not a property did or did not have damage. If you're someone that's looking to sell your property and you did have damage, you're obviously going to sell to and you're selling it as it is. There are investors and builders and contractors out there that will buy those homes. If you don't have insurance or if your insurance isn't going to cover. If your insurance is going to cover, you probably need to wait a little time to process your claim. But anyone that's buying that home, if you say, "Oh, I got an $800,000 house, but it needs $200,000 in reno and I want $600 for it," nobody's buying it for $600. No one buys houses for investment to break even. Okay. You're going to take a hit. You're going to have to understand that if you're going to want to sell and you want out and you want to move and you've got when fixed up $800,000 house, first off, it was $800,000 a month ago. We'll get into a second segment about what I think is going to happen to pricing. And I think it's going to soften. I think we're going to see segments of our market depreciate. However, assuming that doesn't happen, even though I know that it will, you got $800,000, you need $200,000 repairs, you want $600. You're not getting $600. You have to factor in that person's going to want to make a good return. They're going to want to make a 15 to 20% return on their capital. They can make 5% park in a bank. They're now taking on risk. They're going to have to hire contractors. They have to go through all these processes. They're going to want to make more than that. So let's say you get $500 for your house and they can make a nice, 12, 15% return. That is kind of what you have to understand. If you're going to sell your home and you're going to get out and you want out quick, whoever's going to buy your home needs to make a profit. And they want to make a nice profit because guess what? This market is going to be filled with opportunity for investors and flippers and rehabbers to make profit. They're going to want to make a nice profit. They're going to want to make more profit than they did a month ago because there's more risk, because we don't know what's going to happen. The real estate market could, crater. I don't think it's going to crater. There's going to be segments of our market that are going to hit. So there's now more risk for an investor to buy your house that needs to be renovated. Is he going to be able to find labor? Is he going to be able to find people to work on the house? Because now there's so much damage. Like, I have things at my own home that I need fixed from the storm. I can't find labor. They're out working on people who lost everything and lost their homes. If I have a reno project, I'm going to have a hard time finding labor right now. So that is the other thing. And guess what? As much as our state and our government say they want to protect against price gouging, the reality is not gouging, but there is going to be a surcharge. You want yours done faster, or you want to skip ahead? Guess what? We'll do it if you pay us more. If we were normally charging $50,000 for this work, we're probably going to charge $60,000 now, because now we have more risk. Now we got to do this. Now we got to do that. We got to pay our laborers more. We got to find more labor. The labor cost is going to go up. Rehab costs are going to go up. Prices are going to go down. Investors and flippers that are buying homes and giving cash offers right now have to factor all that in, and know what that means. That means you're not going to get the premium that you might have gotten a year or two ago for your house. It's just the reality of the market we're in. If you're motivated and you want to sell, there's certainly ways to sell. There's certainly ways to get your home moved. There are ways to try and market it to get as much as you possibly can, but there's just a lot of uncertainty now. And so I want to talk about that uncertainty next. My next segment, I'm going to give a few minutes summary of what I think is going to happen with our real estate market post-hurricanes, what I think is going to happen to prices, and how I think our real estate market, similar to how a lot of analysts look at stock market, is going to get, split off into different segments. We've always been able to say, hey, the Tampa Bay real estate market is doing this. We're not going to be able to do that now. There are different segments in the market that are going to get hit worse than others, and I want to talk about that after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So we're back here talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market on the Duncan Duo Show. I'm Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team at LPT. Host a show every week talking about Tampa Bay real estate and everything going on in our real estate market. And I teased this in the first segment, talking about what I believe is going to happen to the real estate market. If you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, you want to see what's happening with values, you want to see what your neighbors price their homes at, what it sells at, go to duncanduo.com, fill out your address. You'll get a free home value report that comes to you constantly to keep you updated on what's going on. Because the reality is I'd love to speculate and say I know exactly what's going to happen. This storm is unprecedented. I have some predictions. I have some beliefs that are supported by my instincts based on 20 years of experience, but we don't have a model for what this storm is going to do to our real estate market. So no one's really going to be able to tell you for sure. What I can tell you is if you go to duncanduo.com, you fill out that thing, you fill out our form, you stay on our site, you get your home value estimates, you request a cash offer if you want, request an appointment with us. You can do all those things on duncanduo.com. Now, what's going to happen to real estate in Tampa Bay? First off, I think we are going to see some softening of our average sale price because there are going to be segments of our market hit worse than others, and that will pull the average for the whole market down. We're going to see listings increase. More people are going to want to move and sell their home. They're going to be afraid of the risk that this storm caused, and they're going to want to take their equity, especially those that maybe got unscathed. They may say, I don't want to risk this again. I want to get my equity out and I want to sell, or I want to move. I don't want to put my family in the eye of the storm and of another storm. So there are going to be more sellers. There's also going to be sellers who have storm damage, and they're going to say, hey, I want out. Buy my house cash. Let me move. And then those homes are going to get renovated and put on the market. So I think we're going to see an increase in listings. When you see at the same time, I think we're going to see a drop in demand. This storm was blasted all over the national news and the storm before it. That's put kind of a scarlet letter on Tampa Bay. We've had a nice run here where everything about Tampa Bay has been pretty positive. Good local economy, winning sports teams. We've dodged the storms. We'd been able to advocate, hey, the storms always miss us. We're great. Those people in South Florida and on the other coast, they get hammered, but we're good. Not anymore. We're the two most recent bad ones of Florida, and they hit our area hard. So we're not going to be able to advocate for that anymore. So we're going to be stigmatized for a little bit. So I think that's going to reduce our population growth. Some people may celebrate that, but it will negatively impact the real estate market in terms of eliminating some buyers. Now, if interest rates start to drop and they continue to drop through next year, some of that may get offset. But we know insurance prices are also going to go up. So if insurance prices are going to go up, We're going to lose some buyers. There's a stigma to our market. Naturally, you can point a picture where we're going to see a drop in home values. Okay. Now, when I say that as an average. There are segments of our marketplace that are going to do better than others. I think our luxury market will be hit kind of hard because I think that crowd can buy and live anywhere. So people that are buying $2 and $3 million homes, they may avoid our area for a while because they've seen so much negative news. They may move to other parts of Florida or other parts of the country. So our luxury market, we have a lot of storm damaged homes. I think our luxury market will struggle a little for in the short term. However, I think a lot of those displaced people in those luxury homes will buy in our market. They'll maybe move out to the suburbs. They'll buy new construction or they'll buy a condo. So I think our $300,000 to $600,000 price range is actually going to do relatively well. I think they're going to capitalize from the displaced people. I think condo buildings that are higher up, that are well built, I think you'll see some movement from people into those properties. I think you'll see just an overall, move across different segments of the market. So for example, somebody's living in a single family home in Shore Acres and got flooded out. Maybe they kind of like St. Pete and they look to, move into a building that didn't have damage. So the buildings that didn't have damage may do a little bit better. The buildings in those mid-level price ranges where they're likely to be people buying those to live in temporarily while their homes are remodeled may do kind of well. I think new construction and stuff out in the suburbs is going to do well. Now, again, the ones that didn't have damage or flooding. The ones that got damaged and flooded, you have to understand that what's going to end up happening in those areas where there was damage or flood is it's going to be really hard to value properties because your neighbor might have flooded and you didn't, and they're going to throw their house on the market and maybe slop it back together and try and get out and put it at a low price, and that's going to drive down values in neighborhoods. The other thing that's going to happen in a lot of these flood-affected neighborhoods are the ones that have a lot of people with mortgages or high loan-to-value mortgages that didn't have flood insurance and now become a default situation, become a foreclosure or short sale. That pulls down value. So there's no question we're going to have a lot of neighborhoods that were impacted, have a domino effect where the values are going to continue to be negatively impacted because, people didn't have flood insurance. People are going to become short sales and foreclosures. And then some people are going to get spooked enough that they're going to sell and exit their asset and just get out. And that's going to pull values down. So those neighborhoods that were hit, you're going to see values drop in some of those. The suburbs that didn't get hit, the new construction communities, the well-built condo structures that didn't take on water or damage, a lot of those are going to do very well and, actually benefit. So our market, I kind of like to take our real estate market, and I started talking about this a few months ago when we started seeing a really big rise in the number of Pinellas County condos on the market. We were up to 14 months of inventory before the storm. I think our market is now going to, you kind of think of the stock market and you could say, hey, the stock market's up this amount this year or it's down this amount this year. And that doesn't mean every stock is up or every stock is down. Defense stocks may be doing great. Tech stocks may be doing great. Healthcare stocks may be doing bad. Financial stocks may be doing bad. So our real estate market, you're now going to have that same thing. We're not going to really be able to generically categorize and say, oh, the market's doing this. It's really going to depend on the specific product and the niche. Coastal condos, coastal single family homes that are one story versus multi-story versus the suburbs versus new construction versus the rural homes. So again, you really do need that hyper local expert. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, that's the one thing our team can bring to the table is because we work in all these markets. We can know what's going on everywhere and kind of give you the best advice about, hey, look, here's the safest place to go right now. Here's the best path for you. Here's what you should do to take advantage of this situation. Or here's what you should do just to simply get out and move on. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Again, DuncanDuo.com for a cash offer on your house for a free home value estimate and to get our neighborhood report to keep you updated on everything going on in your neighborhood. We'll be back after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show. I talked in the last segment about what I think is going to happen with the real estate market in Tampa Bay post Helene and Milton, how I think it's going to segment off into different subcategories, kind of like stocks do, where I think segments of our market are going to do well and segments of our market are going to do not so well. Overall, I think we're going to see some softening of price and some reduction in transactions. We're going to see an increase in insurance prices. Hopefully, we get some reprieve on interest rates, and interest rates drop to the point where we can offset some of the likely increase in insurance costs. So a lot of those things are going to happen over the next few months, and we'll see how it ends up impacting the real estate market next year. But again, this is Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team at The Duncan Duo and all of our social channels. Again, at The Duncan Duo, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. We're on it at The Duncan Duo, and DuncanDuo.com for a free home value estimate, neighborhood report, and a cash offer on your property. So I want to talk next to that crowd of people, and the real unfortunate side effect of this storm is that so many people are traumatized. We're all in hurricane fatigue right now. I am as well. It's been 3 weeks of prepare for a hurricane, evacuate hurricane, rebuild, get back going again, then evacuate again and prepare, and then clean up. And it's just been an ongoing thing. So our area has just been really, really negatively impacted. If you want to help, there are a lot of people out there that need your help. Drive around and it's not hard. I have some friends out in Plant City. They're organizing every day. You can message me on any of our socials if you want to go out and help remove trees from elderly people's homes and from first responders' homes to help people get meals. There are a lot of people right now in drastic need that don't have resources, that this storm took the food they had in their fridge, it took away their income, it took away their property. It's made people homeless. It's made people meal-less, foodless. So if you want to help, again, send us a message on any of our social channels. We'll let you know where we're helping. But one of the places I know that I'm helping right now is Aaron Davis, the title partner with me at my title company, Strategic Title, and owner of Hillsborough Title, as well as multiple other title companies. He gets a group of people in the 50s, approaching 100 people every day that meet up at his office each morning and go out and help the community if that's something you want to participate in. And while they meet in Plant City, because that's where they have all their resources and tools, they're going out and helping people all over, including Pinellas, including Pasco, Lutz, Odessa, South Tampa, you name it. They're deploying resources out to the communities in need. I know the Metropolitan Ministries is helping a lot of homeless people right now, people that have been displaced by the storm. That's a charity that I've been involved with for a long time. So if you're someone that wants to help, please help if you can. If you were unscathed, this is a great opportunity to show the rest of the country what Tampa Bay does to help their fellow neighbors and people in need. So speaking of people in need, had a couple of conversations with clients this week who have lost everything. You know, their home was destroyed. They lost everything in it. They didn't have flood insurance, so they're not insured. And now they owe more on their home than it's worth. If you are one of those people, your lender will very likely work with you on some type of forbearance to suspend your payments for a little bit of time. And then you have a choice to make. You have to decide, do you want to try and repair the house yourself? Do you want to try and piece it together? Do you want to stay? Or do you want to get out and sell? Do you want to sell it for less than what is owed? And if you don't have the money to make up the difference, then you are what is called a short sale. I've talked about these on the show before. We started to see short sales pick up a little bit in the early part of this year, with people who had high interest rate loans that they'd bought homes for in the last year or two and didn't have equity but needed to sell or had to sell. And now we're going to see another segment of the marketplace increase short sales, and that are flooded homes. So if you are someone that is going to need to do a short sale, you need to work with someone that knows what they're doing with short sales. There are a lot of real estate agents out there that do not know how to do short sales. So in my 20 years, I'd be willing to put my track record up against anybody in Tampa Bay in terms of our team's experience at doing short sales. If you're someone that needs to sell your home for less than what it's worth and negotiate with the bank the payoff so that you have better credit reporting and better credit damage than if you let it go to foreclosure, we would love the opportunity to help you. Again, DuncanDuo.com. Reach out. Let us know. Call us at our office, 813-359-8990. We can help you avoid foreclosure and do a short sale so that you can preserve your credit response, recover quicker, and navigate with your bank to help you, through that process. So we have a massive amount of experience at doing short sales. I'd be willing to bet that very few people in Tampa Bay, if any, have done the number of short sales that my team has done. So we have the experience there to help you through it. So if you are going to come up short, if you are going to have a home that's worth less than what you owe, a short sale may be the right path for you, especially if you're in a not insured place that could take on additional damage. The bank is not going to want that to go all the way to foreclosure. We're a judicial foreclosure state, meaning it's a court process, and courts don't work fast. So If you need help with the short sale, again, we would love the opportunity to help guide you through that, help preserve your credit as best we can, and help you move on with dignity so that you can get to your next step. So again, DuncanDuo.com, reach out. Glad to have a free consultation with you and help guide you in the right direction for a for a short sale. So if you need a short sale, we would love to help you with that. And again, DuncanDuo.com for that. So again, you're listening to the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show here on WFLA at TheDuncanDuo.com, or excuse me, at The Duncan Duo on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all of them. And then DuncanDuo.com for your free home value estimate, neighborhood report, instant cash offer. Know what's going on in your neighborhood. Be able to set an appointment with us directly through DuncanDuo.com, as well as know what's going on in your neighborhood. We are making cash offers. We do have a fund that's dedicated to buying homes for cash. And we'll be honest with you and tell you, hey, look, your flood damage is this. Your home is now worth land, or your home's now worth this, or here's how much it's going to cost to renovate. And here's what we expect to happen with the market. Anyone that is pricing your home today based on what sold a month ago is doing you a major disservice, an absolute major disservice, because we have no idea what's going to happen with the market. In fact, most people predict we're going to see some value drop, meaning that if you price your home from a month ago, your home may not sell. Your neighbors may undercut you. There may be a short sale in your neighborhood or a foreclosure due to storm effects, or consequently, someone that just simply is more motivated than you to depart. So you have to be very aggressive pricing your home today. If you're not aggressive pricing your home, you may very well lose in today's real estate market. So it's important to make sure that you're paying attention to that. As a home buyer right now, if you're thinking about buying a home, really important to focus on the inspection side of things. Not just from a standpoint of a normal home inspection, but looking for every possible instance you can of storm damage that could affect your neighborhood. Because here's the thing. If you're buying in a neighborhood, okay, so put this into perspective for a second here. And home sellers, I need you to listen to this too. This is why looking backwards and looking at comps and what sold prior to this storm showing up is completely irrelevant. It truly is completely irrelevant. The day these storms hit, our market is forever changed. Not only is it forever changed, but a lot of the data that we have prior to the storms becomes irrelevant. And let me explain why. If you're in a neighborhood and your home didn't get much damage, but a bunch of other people in your neighborhood did, and you think, oh, my home still worked just as much because it didn't get damaged. Let me explain why that's flawed logic. And let me explain why the comps don't matter. Those other homes on your street that are gutted and have the drywall sitting in the street, okay, and the remnants of that are going to be around for months. Of course, they come and pick up the piles. I saw them pick up piles on my street too. But guess what? You can still tell there were piles there. People know what happened, okay, and they're going to be able to know what happened for a long time. It's going to stigmatize your neighborhood. And here's the other reason why it's negative. Many of those didn't have flood insurance, okay, or didn't have proper insurance, or are people that are more motivated than you are, or there are people who aren't as financially savvy as you, and now they're going to go behind on their mortgage, and they're going to become a short sale. And that short sale is going to have to price aggressive so that someone will wait around on it, okay? If your neighborhood got impacted, you're going to see softening of price. You can't look at what sold a month ago, okay? What sold a month ago is an entirely different market. It doesn't exist anymore, okay? So if your neighborhood got hit and you're comparable to some of those homes that got destroyed, those homes are going to come on the market at lower prices. Some of those are going to turn into short sales or foreclosures. Some of those are going to turn into homes sold with flood damage. And even though they're sold with flood damage, sometimes you may not be able to differentiate or know that they were. Banks are going to use those as comps. Appraisers are going to use them as comps mistakenly, okay? People are human. They're going to make mistakes. It's going to drive down prices. If your neighborhood was impacted, even if you weren't, okay? That's just natural. That's knowing and forecasting and having, 20 years of experience to see and evaluate and know what's going to happen to a real estate market. I can tell you that you may think you're great and, oh, my neighbor's house sold 6 months ago for this price and that's what I want. Forget it. You're not getting it. It ain't happening, okay? Prices are going to go down in your neighborhood if your neighborhood got hit, period. Now, they may not go down as much, but they're going to soften some. They just have to. Now, there are segments of the marketplace and communities that didn't get hit at all, and those may do better. But if your neighborhood got hit, even if your house didn't, you're probably going to have some value loss. And if you're close on your mortgage, imagine how close on your mortgage to value some of your other neighbors may be. Few of those turn into short sales or people walk on them and turn into foreclosures. Domino effect, okay? The domino effect is it ends up negatively impacting your value. So we've had this sunshine and rainbows real estate market for the last year. It really hasn't been, but a lot of real estate agents got into the game during sunshine and rainbows, and they don't know how to do the grit. They don't know how to grind through this. They keep giving the same old tired advice of, oh, the neighbor's home sold 6 months ago, so we can get that or better. That doesn't exist anymore, okay? Everything changed. And it's really important if you have some, wet behind the ears real estate agent that you're working with to help you buy or sell that hasn't gone through these moments, that doesn't know how to evaluate chaos, it wasn't around during short sales, hasn't been through prior hurricanes that hit our market. I'm telling you right now, you're going to make a mistake and lose even more money. Now more than ever, you need to pick a professional. You need to pick the best agent in the market. Frankly, you need to pick the Duncan Duo team. But there's some other great agents out there too, but please do not go with the inexperienced uncle's cousin's brother's friend right now, okay? This is a time for you to go with the pro that's done a lot of business, that knows how to navigate this market, that knows how to give you the right advice, not the same old tired advice that's worked the last few years, but the advice on how to pivot and strategize around something that we've never seen before. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Hopefully you make the right advice. Hopefully you go to duncanduo.com, fill out a form, and have us help you get your home sold and strategize the best path for you, considering the circumstances of everything going on in our market right now with the election, with the flood, with interest rates. All these things are major impacts that a lot of rookie real estate agents have no idea what they're doing. So we'll be back, continue this conversation after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Look, I've spent the whole show today talking about the impacts of Helene and Milton on our real estate market, the different segments, what will happen to prices, what's going to happen, the best advice I can give you about how to handle the situation, how to handle claims, all of those things. What I want to talk about next are the people out there whose homes flooded and you're thinking about selling. There are a lot of people moving into our market right now that are predatory. I've been selling real estate and operated my businesses that buy homes, my title company, all the affiliations I've had over 20 years to build a great reputation and a great business locally. There are a lot of people out there that are coming and going to prey on our market, a lot of wholesalers. And I want to explain what a wholesaler is and tell you to run as fast as you can from them right now. If someone comes to you and they want to buy your house, they want to buy your flooded house, okay? You need to Google them. You need to find their company name. You need to find them. You need to see reviews. Please, please do not go under contract with people that you can't really vet out and prove that they have the resources to buy it and that they actually intend to buy it. I cannot tell you how many sellers contact us and say, hey, I want to sell my home to you, or I want you to list it, but I'm under contract with a buyer and I can't get out. And we look at the contract that they have with their buyer, and it's got all these extensions and clauses and assignability clauses because that buyer doesn't have any intention on buying your house. A lot of home buyers, especially the ones that go door to door, and the ones that tell you, oh, we want to buy your house for cash. They have zero interest in actually buying your house in cash. I do. I don't wholesale. I buy homes and close on them, renovate them, and resell them. I don't wholesale. Wholesaling is when someone puts a contract on your house. They prey on the fact that you don't know how to read it or that you don't read it and you don't understand the clauses in it. And they prey on the fact that they can deceive you into giving away your equity to them. And here's what they do. They have you sign a contract, and the contract says that it's assignable, meaning that they can transfer the contract to someone else, okay? So rule number one, if you're going to accept an offer on your house, don't let them have an assignability clause. If they have an assignability clause, they don't actually intend on buying your house. And rule number 2 is make sure you have a substantial amount of escrow. If you have a $500,000 house with $500 in escrow and you accepted that offer, you're stupid. You need thousands upon thousands in escrow to protect yourself so that that person doesn't walk on the money that they're putting into escrow. So don't accept a contract that's assignable, and don't accept some low ball escrow amount, because that's their risk. If they're not willing to put up substantial amount of money to buy your house, they're not real. Because here's what they want to do. They want to take that contract they have. They want to lock you up at some aggressive price, okay? Then they want to go and find somebody else that will take over the contract and give them what's called an assignment fee. $5, $10, $20, $50, $100,000 assignment fee, so that they can just pass the deal to the actual buyer. And all they did was make you sign a form, okay? They didn't really do anything exceptional. If you'd have properly marketed the home, you'd have found an end buyer that would have paid you the end buyer number. But the wholesaler tied up your property and basically took your equity away. And you let them. That's why you got to involve a real estate agent. It's why you got to involve the Duncan Duo. Before you sign a contract, let us know. Let us look at it. We can even refer you to attorneys to give you legal advice to help you make the right decision. Don't get pressured in your living room or in your flooded house or in your flooded driveway into signing a contract from somebody that's going door to door. Anyone that's going door to door right now, I promise you, I'm not going door to door, and I got the money to buy your house. Okay, but you can go to DuncanDuo.com. We'll give you a real cash offer, not from a wholesaler, okay, but from someone that will actually buy and close on your house. And if that's what you want, there are options out there, but please do not fall prey to the people that are going door to door right now that want to lock up your equity and assign your contract and don't really have any intention on ever closing on it. They're going to basically ask you for extension after extension to try and find somebody to take over, okay, so that they can pass your deal off to somebody else and they can make a quick buck, okay? Go to somebody that'll actually buy and close on it, give you a real offer, not some fantasy land offer that's going to close some point in the next 6 months so they can spend 6 months trying to find somebody to buy the contract. Okay. So again, please avoid these situations right now. And look, I have wholesalers I buy from, and I respect their game. I respect their hustle. But right now, there are going to be some of them that are going to not do it ethically and be very dishonorable and try and take people's equity and take advantage of them. And you might think, oh, wow, I got my home sold. Man, I talk to people every single week. Oh, I already sold my house. Oh, yeah, who? Well, when do they close? 30 days. And you call them in 30 days. Oh, no, they haven't closed. They asked for another 30 days. They asked for another 30 days. And then you're in extension hell because you thought you had your home sold and all you really did was sign a contract with somebody that ain't ever going to close on your house. Please don't make that mistake. Call us. We'll be honest with you. You can look up our reviews. 20 years in the marketplace. I wouldn't be the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning if we were operating an unethical business. We do things the right way. We'll tell you the truth, and we'll help you get your home sold. Or we'll buy it from you in some instances. So again, DuncanDuo.com, home value estimate, instant cash offer. And last segment here, and our last segment, the last minute we got, I am so glad for Tampa Bay Lightning hockey season to be back. I feel like Tampa Bay needs something positive. I'm excited for what the Lightning are doing in our community right now to help give back. We had our home opener this week, and just excited for hockey season in general. Hopefully the Bolts can kind of help us get through a little bit, help our city and our area continue to recover from the effects of these two storms. And if there's anything we can do to personally help you, again, please go to us at DuncanDuo.com. Fill out a quick form. We'll reach out. We'll call. We'll text, however you like to communicate. You can also call or text us anytime at 813-359-8990. And I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay. Thanks for tuning in.